Hey, yeah, let's cover lesson 33, percent, decimals, and fractions. Okay, the word percent means per 100 or for every, pardon me, 100 or parts per 100. So it means for every 100 or it means parts per 100. Okay, so there are 20 squares shaded out of this 100. It's 10 per row. This means that there are 20%. It means that 12%, that 20% is shaded. All right. So 20 parts per 100 means 20 divided by 100. Okay. This will change our fraction once we divide this to a decimal. Okay. So 20 divided by 100 would give us 0.20. All right. I'm going to show you how to change from, I just showed you how to change from a fraction to a decimal, which we already knew anyways. Now I'm going to show you in the next piece how to change to a percent. Changing a percent to a fraction is the same concept as creating a ratio. To change a percent to a fraction, you just drop the percent symbol and put the number over 100, as I did here. I dropped the percent symbol and I put the number over 100. That changes it to a fraction automatically. Now, to change 24% to a fraction, you just put 24, drop the percent over 100. Now we can reduce that, which we should. So if we reduce this, they're both reducible by 4. I do know that. So I can divide both these by 4, and that's equal to 6 over 25. So there's 24% as a reduced fraction. All right, I want you to pause, and you should be able to handle all 3 of these. So if you can't, that's fine. Just do this one at least, and then come back and check yourself. Watch me do this one, and then give yourself a chance to do this one. Okay, so 36% to a fraction. So that makes it 36 over 100. And I'm going to reduce that by 4 as well. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 100 divided by 4 is 25. And that is my reduced fraction. 14 2/7%. The first thing I need to do is go around the world. 7 times 14 is, I don't know. Let me get a calculator. 7 times 14 is 98. And then plus 2 is 100. So that's 100 over 7. And that's not changed to a fraction yet. That's still a percent. That's still in my percent form. Okay. To change it to a fraction, I would have to take just the 100 over 7 and divide it by 100. And I would write it like that. Okay. Now the fraction, now the percentage is gone because I've divided by 100, just as I did up here. I just wrote it out differently. I'm going to do the keep, switch, and flip. When I flip, just remember this is over 1 currently. So I'm going to keep this as 100 over 7, switch from division to multiplication, and then flip 100 over 1 to 1 over 100. Okay. When I do that, if I multiply across, these hundreds are going to reduce themselves, and I'm left with 1 over 7, which is already in reduced form. Okay, so you're going to change to an improper fraction. Then you're going to write it as a fraction, dropping the percent and putting it, dividing by 100, write as fraction. And then the last is to divide. All right, pause the video and do this next one yourself, and then come back and check. Okay, so I'm going to go around the world. 9 times 99 is, 9 times 11 is 99. I was thinking ahead. Plus 1 is 100 again. over 9, and this is still in percent. To switch it to a fraction, I have to go 100 over 9 and divide that by 100. Do the keep, switch, flip again. So 100 over 9 times 1 over 100. These reduce, and you're left with 1/9. Right, changing 28.4% to a fraction. This is just like what we had done before whenever, pardon me. Goodness. I'm going to first go through here and get rid of the percent. To get rid of the percent, I'm going to leave just the 28.4 and divide it by 100. I got rid of the percent sign and I divided by 100. That's all I did. Okay, the next piece of this is I want to get rid of that decimal because it's making me crazy. This is not proper math. To get rid of that decimal, I just need to multiply both the top and the bottom by 10. So that makes it 284 over 1,000. Okay, now I can reduce, divide both of these by 4. 284 divided by 4 is 71. And 1,000 divided by 4 is 250. There is my fraction. Pause the video and do this next one yourself and then come back to check. All right, I'm going to take that 87.5 over 100. Fraction's gone, percent's gone. Now I'm going to multiply both by 10. If I can get this to write out for me. So 875 over 1,000, 3. And now I'm going to reduce by 5. I know by 5, maybe more. 875 divided by 5 is 175. And then 1,000 divided by 5. Oh, it can be more than that, over 200. Oh gosh, yeah, they're both divisible by 25 now. Okay, so I'm going to divide both of these by 25. It's hard to see it the other way. 175 divided by 25 is 7. And 200 divided by 25 is 8. There is my fraction. Okay. To change a percent to a decimal. So first you write the percent as a fraction, just like before. And then change it to a decimal. So change 23.25% to a decimal. We're going to take 23.25 divided by 100. Percent is now gone. I'm going to now just divide that. 23.25 divided by 100. 23.25 divided by 100 is 0.2325. That's equal to 0.2325. There is my decimal. So anytime you change a percent to a decimal, you just divide by 100. So take the 87.5 and divide it by 100. Percent is gone. 87.5 divided by 100 is going to be 0.875. 0.875. Please use your calculator when we're doing this. I know that my students in the class that you're about to go into try to skip that dividing by 100 step, and gosh darn it, they mess up a lot. So just be careful with that. Is there a faster way to change a percent to a decimal? Well, you can just move your decimal. If you have 23.25%, you can do that. Just get rid of the percent, but you have to move your decimal over 2 places to the left. So 0.2325. All right, what about 87.5%? You do that one. Pause the video and do that one, and then come back and check yourself. So for this one, again, we have to move the decimal over 2 places. So that's 0.875. I'm going to give you a few more of these. So I'll give you 125% and 0.23%. Take both of those, pause the video, and make those decimals. Okay, for this one, you have to understand that the decimal is here currently, and you're going to move it 2 places to the left. So 1.25 and get rid of that percent symbol. This one is the one that students tend to mess up on with me because they think, oh, it's already in a decimal. It's not, it's got a percent sign. So you still have to get rid of the percent and divide by 100. So that means you have to move your decimal over 2 places and fill in an extra 0. So 0.0023 is the decimal representing 0.23%. That's the one I wanted y'all to check on. All right, change 5.5% to a decimal. So 5.5%. I am going to go around, pardon me, goodness, change that to, let's try this again. I'm going to change that to 5.5%. You can just take 1 divided by 2. So that's equal to 5.5%. Okay. Once you get it in this format, all you have to do is back up your decimal. And I showed you this in class the other day to where you can just have 5, and then instead of 1/2, you can have 0.5. Okay. So I'm going to move my decimal to the left 2 places. So that's 0.055 and get rid of that percent sign. Changing 6 3/4. So take your calculator and go, well, first I'm going to have my whole number, 6 point, and then my 3/4 is 3 divided by 4, which is 0.75. So I'm going to put my 75 here, and I haven't gotten rid of my decimal, my percent yet. To get rid of my percent, I have to drop it and move my decimal to the left 2 places, or just divide by 100. 0.0675 is the decimal for that. All right, to change a decimal to a percent, you just move the decimal point 2 places to the right and add a percent symbol. So the only thing I don't like about this is it's not making you think in mathematical terms. This is kind of a cheat thought through it. And people forget, oh God, do I move to the left? Do I move to the right? I forget. Here's what I always tell people. If you're changing from a decimal to a percent, from a decimal to a percent, you multiply by 100. All right, from a decimal to a percent, you multiply by 100. To go from a percent to a decimal, you divide by 100 and you get rid of the percent sign. That's the difference. That's how I teach it in my other class. Not necessarily that broken down. I mean, it's usually really strong at first, but that's where we're at right now in the class. All right, so we're going to change 0.0725 to a percent. So if I'm going from a decimal to a percent, I just multiply by 100 and add a percent sign. So that's the same thing as moving your decimal 2 places to the right and adding a percent sign. 2 places to the right. I'm going to put the 0 to 1.5 and adding a percent sign. All right, to change a fraction to a percent, you change the fraction to a decimal first. And then you change the decimal to a percent by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right, and then adding your percent symbol. All right, so alternatively, to change a fraction to a percent, you change the fraction to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. All right, so for looking at these, we've got change 5/8 to a percent. Well, first thing we need to do is change 5/8 from fraction to a decimal to a percent. Okay, it is in fraction form. To change it to a decimal, I just divide it. So 5 divided by 8 equals, and that's 0.625, 0.625. And then to change it to a percent, I just have to multiply it by 100 and add the cute little percent symbol. So times 100 equals 162.5%. Okay, change your turn. Pause the video and do this one, and then come back and check yourself. Change 4/13 to a percent. So 4/13 is my fraction. I need to change it to a decimal by dividing. So 0 point something. 4 divided by 13 is 0.30769. 30769. I know it's 2308. I'm just going to put that in there as well. To change that to a percent, I have to move my decimal over 2 places. So that becomes 30.7692308. But then it says to round to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. Well, this is in percent form now. So now is when I reduce. I round to the nearest 1/10. You do not ever round until you get to that place. So my 10th place is here. That's my rounding digit. My 10th digit is the 6. 6 is 5 or greater, so I'm going to add 1 to my 7. So that's 30.8% is the answer for this one. And that is it for lecture 33. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll see you on 34.